Alrighty then, and we are back. Thanks for your patience. Apparently, what happens is when I reboot my computer, I've got to redo every single setting. So now we know that. But the upside is I wasn't able to do an inset on the desktop, but now I can. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about this weekend. Horrific shootings, clearly in El Paso and in Dayton. The El Paso situation is developing, though, and it's very interesting. I don't think he was supposed to live, and I think they're freaking out that he did live. Why did we have people live on El Paso News? So this isn't, goofy, crazy internet shill nonsense. This is from the TV station, people coming out of the Walmart when the active shooter was, or the situation was still developing, and they said four men wearing tactical black, wearing all black, and now it's a lone shooter. Now we do have the video of him walking in the front door with the AK-47 style rifle, and it wasn't an AK-47. An AK-47 is a military weapon. It is an automatic weapon. It is illegal. It wasn't an AK-47. It was an AK-47 style weapon, okay? But how did a kid with one 30-round mag, just one, he didn't have any other mags on him, didn't switch out, it wasn't a double, how did he kill 20 people and wound 30? Okay, with only 30 rounds? There's a lot of questions that are remaining. Governor Abbott was on the scene almost immediately, which was impressive, and he said that the young man is being very cooperative, that he is providing a lot of information. He's very forthcoming with information, is the exact quote. That he is cooperative. He's been described as dazed and confused. Was he the only shooter? I don't know. I'm not saying there were more than one shooter. People that were there said that there was more than one shooter. So people that were there said that there were men in tactical black, just like at Parkland High School. So are we ever going to know the full story? I don't know. We still don't know the full story from Las Vegas. There's a lot that we don't know, and it's very frustrating not knowing. But do not give in to this shill nonsense on the internet, okay? My phone was blown up all weekend. Is it true that the deep state threatened President Trump with mass shootings every single day in various cities unless he stopped the D-class of the FISA investigation? Seriously, you got to ask that question? Come on. That's all garbage. Don't associate with people pushing that garbage. If somebody puts that on your timeline, delete them, block them. That's what I've been doing. If people are, pushing shill nonsense, use your discernment and don't go there. It's garbage. I think the president upset a lot of people that didn't listen closely today. He didn't say we're going to have red flag laws, period. He said red flag laws with rapid due process. Okay, you've got to have due process. You can't take people's guns without having a hearing, without there being a court order, without probable cause, without due process. Okay, what we need are more people, more citizens, more patriots like the grandmother in Lubbock, Texas, that prevented a mass shooting last week. Her grandson told her that he was having homicidal and suicidal ideation, and she got him to go to the hospital with her and got him the mental health treatment that he needed. And he laid out all the weapons on his bed, and he told the police where to go get them. Okay, that woman stopped, we don't know how many lives from being taken. Okay, that's what we need. This kid in Dayton had a rape list and a kill list in 2012, and all they did was suspend him from school? Come on. We've got to do better than this. Okay, the problem isn't a gun problem. Chicago is proof. Detroit is proof. Los Angeles is proof. Gun laws don't stop gun crime. Period. Restrictive gun laws, taking away people's God-given and constitutionally protected right to defend themselves and their families and their neighbors, does not prevent the taking of life with a gun. It's the exact opposite. The more people have guns, the lower the gun crime. Okay? What I was really surprised is that the kid in Walmart was able to get off so many rounds without somebody taking him out, because you know that people were packing heat. And God love that one man who got all those children out of there. And of course, the lunatic left is saying, that gun didn't save any lives. His gun didn't save any lives. It's like, well, guess what? When he's getting the children out of there, if that gunman came up on him, you better believe that his gun would have saved some lives. Of course he kept it out and kept it handy. Got an active shooter situation going on. And God bless him for getting those children out of there. But again, we don't have a gun problem. We've got an angry, alienated young man problem. We've got a too many kids on psychotropic meds problem. We've got a parents not paying attention to what their children are up to problem. Those are the problems we have. We've got a God being taken away from public sphere problem. Okay? Separation of state doesn't exist. The founders chose not to establish a state religion. The founders chose to protect everyone's ability to practice their own faith. The founders did not say you cannot mention God in the public square. Quite the opposite. John Adams said that the Constitution is wholly unsuitable to govern any but a God-fearing people. How many times did George Washington give thanks and rely on divine providence? Okay, these were God-fearing, faithful men that founded our country. They did not expect godless communists, which is what the left are. They are godless communists. They literally booed God. So don't be telling me how the Democrats love God, because they literally booed God. Now, might there be people who vote for Democrats who love God? Absolutely. However, if they're good people, they would walk away. The best people have already walked away. We need people to walk away from the Democrat Party. They are absolutely lunatics. They are communists. They seek the destruction of America. They hate you. They hate me. They hate America. And I'm not being divisive. I'm not spreading hate with that. I'm calling it the way I see it. You know, a lot of people have been saying that social media, and I think there's a lot to this, social media has created incredible divisions. Well, you've got people that are so hardcore TDS that a man in Baltimore said that the president is 100% right about Baltimore being a rat-infested hellhole, and if anybody else had said it, he could accept it. But because Trump said it, he couldn't accept those words. Well, that's a problem, pal. Turn off your TDS, turn off your MSLSD, turn off your CNN, and wake up to reality. Because if you could accept the truth from anybody other than somebody that you don't like, the problem is you. The problem isn't the person that you don't like. We've got a lot of problems in this country, and too many guns is not one of them. People say, you can walk into a store and get an automatic weapon without even leaving your name. I mean, it's literally that ridiculous. That's the kind of garbage that they're saying. That there's no background checks. That you can just walk into a gun store and walk out with a fully automatic weapon. Military grade weapon. New York has banned guns based on pieces of plastic. Yes. An AR-15, and no, it doesn't stand for automatic rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle, the company that first created it, Armalite Arms. The AR-15 is no different than your grandfather's .22 hunting rifle. Pull the trigger once, 1 round fires. Want another round of fire? You pull the trigger again. That's what a semi-automatic is. That's why you hear these people out there saying ridiculous things like, it was a fully semi-automatic assault weapon. Well, there's no such thing as a fully semi-automatic. Okay? I mean, that just shows complete and absolute ignorance of firearm technology. No such thing as fully semi-automatic. You've got automatic and you've got semi-automatic. You've got selective fire, which actually has 3 settings. In M4, which the AR-15 is based on the M4 type platform, but an M4 will allow you to go fully auto, 3-round burst, or semi-automatic. Pull the trigger once, get 1 round off. Or you can go 3-round burst, pull the trigger once, fire 3 rounds. Or you can go fully automatic. Pull the trigger, keep it depressed, and you fire away. Those are military weapons. Those are banned and have been for decades, since the 1930s. Machine guns have been banned with very, very few exceptions. It's incredibly difficult to get a machine gun license, and where you can use the machine gun, where you can actually fire it, is unbelievably regulated and restricted. Okay, so don't be telling me that people have military weapons. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these idiots on the left that don't know the first thing about, they don't know the difference between a revolver and a pistol. But an AR-15 fires a .223 round. Well, that's only very slightly larger than a .22 round. Okay? Guess what? The M4 was not designed to kill. It was designed to wound. It's not a large caliber weapon. A 30-06 deer rifle will do a heck of a lot more damage than an AR-15 will. Again, the problem isn't gun access. The problem isn't too many guns. The problem is that we've eliminated God from the public square, that we've lost our way as a nation. We've got all young men here today, these feminists just, white male privilege, toxic masculinity, all this BS that is just running young guys down. I mean, they've got so much soy in their food that sperm counts have been plummeting dramatically. Dramatically. I mean, when we call them soy boys, it's literal. Fertility rates are really plummeting. It's a big public health issue. Nobody's addressing it. They're trying to feminize boys from preschool on up. What do you think all this tranny reading story time at the library is all about? They're trying to feminize boys. They're trying to destroy our culture and our civilization is what they're trying to do. But they love the Bullwinkles. And little do they realize that they're not controlling the Bullwinkles. The Bullwinkles are just using them to get across the river. Now, unlike the story of the frog and the scorpion, the Bullwinkles are smart enough to wait until the frog gets it across the river. And then once they're across the river, then the Bullwinkles will sting the frog. Okay, see how that works? They don't. I know you all do. Okay, let's go over. It's going to be awkward because we got to do this. Then we got to do this. There we go. Let's go over to the president's twatter. I guess Lou Dobbs was talking about Google. Check out what Google is up to for the 2020 election. Well, we know that Google is not a... What's going on here? We know that Google is not a lover of free speech. Google is looking to skew things even more toward the Democrat, whoever that might be, than they did in 2016. This was a great tweet, I thought. We must honor the sacred memory of those we have lost by acting as one people. Open wounds cannot heal if we are divided. We must seek real bipartisan solutions that will truly make America safer and better for all. Today, I'm directing the Department of Justice to propose legislation ensuring that those who commit hate crimes and mass murders face the death penalty. Absolutely the right response. And that this capital punishment be delivered quickly, decisively, and without years of needless delay. Exactly. Do it the way Texas does it. Texas put in an express lane. This was a big story. China is intent on continuing to receive the hundreds of billions of dollars they've been taking from the U.S. with unfair trade practices and currency manipulation. So one-sided, it should have been stopped many years ago. Based on the historic currency manipulation by China, it is now even more obvious to everyone that Americans are not paying for the tariffs. They are being paid for compliments of China, and the U.S. is taking in tens of billions of dollars. China has always used currency manipulation to steal our businesses and factories, hurt our jobs, depress our workers' wages, and harm our farmers' prices. Not anymore. Why is the president talking about that? Beijing escalates trade war, halts new agricultural purchases, and they have ramped up the currency manipulation. And Treasury has officially designated them a currency manipulator. The United States took the rare step on Monday of formally labeling China a currency manipulator as trade relations between the two countries continue to spiral downward after President Trump's decision last week to impose additional tariffs on Chinese goods. In recent days, China has taken concrete steps to devalue its currency while maintaining substantial foreign exchange reserves despite the active use of such tools in the past. Okay, what this means is, what currency devaluation means is, it will cost less to manufacture something in China. It will cost less to do business in China. China is trying to lure business there by making it cheaper. Okay, that is currency manipulation, and that is no good. We had the Dow. Remember I said that the only thing that could prevent Donald Trump from winning re-election is if the economy melts down. Well, it's been roaring so hard now for 2 years that, and the Dow has been setting record after record, bubble popping. Dow is down 767 today. It's called profit taking, people. If you buy a stock at $10 and it runs up to $20, you'd be stupid not to put a stop loss order in to sell it at 19. Okay, that way if it drops a buck, even $2, say you put it in for a 10% loss. Okay, so you put your stop loss in at 18. So you're willing to lose $2 to protect your $8 gain. You see how that works? That's how you should be doing it. I always had floating stop losses. So as the stock ratcheted up, the stop loss limit would ratchet up. So if it got to 30, well, it's a 10% stop loss limit. So if it dropped $3 to 27, I'd lose $3 in order to lock in my 17. And then what you can do is if it drops further, you can buy it back cheaper. Let's say it drops down to 20. You bought it at 10, it got to 30, you sold it at 27 when it was on its way back down to 20. Well, you just buy it back at 20. Once it starts ticking up again, you buy it back. So now you've got a stock at 20. And if it gets back up to 30, you've gained. You see how that works? You got $7 out of the deal. That's what's going on. It's a lot of profit taking. Big tech loses $162 billion in value. That's an irrelevant number because the big tech valuations are goofy anyway. And there's so much value in the big tech sector that, yeah, $162 billion is a lot of money. However, you got to look at it in terms of percentages. This was a wild story. Accused subway surfer released without bail after 18th arrest. So this is subway surfing. I never did it on the front of the car, but this was called Timbo Getting to Work in the 80s. I would get on at Queens Plaza, and it would be so packed, the E-train would be so packed that I would get on in between cars. They have little spring-loaded gates, and so you just open them up, and I'd walk in, and I would ride between cars down to the next stop, and then when the doors opened and people got out, I would open the door at the end of the car and I would go in once there was room. But, you know, if there was no way to get in the doors, I wasn't waiting for the next train. I would just hop in between trains and surf until the next stop, and then you could open the door and do it. Now, they've locked the doors, which I think is actually a safety violation, but they've locked the doors now, and you can no longer do that. But this guy, apparently he's been arrested 18 times, and he's pulled the chain. He's got some mental issues, clearly. 23-year-old guy, Isaiah Thompson. Okay, subway surfing, you want to take your own life in your own hands, I've got no problem with that. Unfortunately, apparently he was accused of pulling the emergency brake on a northbound 2 train, which is the west side, 123 is on the west side, during the evening rush hour in Manhattan, which caused delays for thousands of commuters. Yeah, we don't want that. That's not good, Isaiah. You got to not be doing that. So, but I just thought that was a fun little story. And let's see if there's anything else here that's really worth talking about. I don't know why it keeps doing that. If any Mac people knows why it automatically zooms in like that, I would appreciate knowing it. Just give me a little heads up. This was rich. Obama, we must not let racist views become normalized. Okay, stop being a racist. Problem solved. Boom, done. So over this guy. So over his husband. So over the Democrats. And it was great to see, though, Tulsi Gabbard put Heels Up Harris in her place. I love watching that clip just for the body language. Heels Up Harris did not know how to react to being challenged. She's never been challenged before. When you run statewide as a Democrat in California, you don't face any opposition. So it was fun to see her squirm. Again, I'm not a Tulsi fan. She's as radical left as the rest of them. But it was fun to see Heels Up Harris discomfited. I don't know who's going to be running against the president, but you can guarantee whoever it is hates you, hates me, and hates America. Now, I don't, again, that is not me being divisive. That is me calling it the way I see it. So until next time, I'm glad we've got the problem solved. I want to thank you for your continued support and positive good wishes that you send me. I really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate you tweeting this out, sharing it on your Facebook post, sharing it in Facebook groups, sharing it to Facebook pages, really trying to grow the audience, and I need your help with that, and I really appreciate you all. Until next time, God bless you. God bless these United States. Keep fighting the good fight.